fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Megalodon Genome and Eagle Genome set from the Revice Remix figure line for Kamen Rider Revice. We have pictures of all the forms here on the front of the box, as well as their crazy remix forms. If you guys know me at all, I'm not a huge fan of these, so I'm very interested to see how this set works out. As it notes down here in the corner, you are going to need the Revi and Vice figures from the Rex Genome set, which came out first. Now, I believe there are kind of little, like, static figures, like just bodies that you can display the pieces on, so that's kind of nice. So that way you can kind of have not just a pile of the pieces laying around, and then you can put them on the figures when you want to actually do the remix forms. So I do appreciate that. You can see here how we have kind of the torsos and arms, and I guess the heads are connected to the armor and whatnot. So we'll see how all that works when we get all this stuff out of the box. But if you do have the figures from the Rex Genome set, you can put the armor on them as well, and then you can form the two remix forms here. So there's a lot to check out in this one. Kind of cool picture here on the top. Not too much going on the bottom. And then you just kind of have the two static figures with the bodies on here. Now, I don't know. Yeah, I think you only get one set of static bodies. So really, you are going to have a pile of pieces no matter what. So that's kind of dumb. But we'll see how that goes once we get everything out of the box here. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything out of this box, and then we're going to take a closer look. So here's everything you get in the box, and this is exactly how it comes in the box. Okay, that's not true. The Megalodon pieces don't come in a giant pile like this. They're sectioned nicely in a plastic tray. But we do have the Eagle Genome pieces that are already on these like static bodies already in the box, just like this. I'm going to take all the Megalodon pieces and just move them off to the side real quick. And I'll just take a look at these bodies. They're not great. They obviously have no paint applications whatsoever. But if you just want an easy way to display all of the genome pieces without having them sit in a giant pile like we just saw with Megalodon, I think this is nice. I mean, if you just put this on a shelf, you know, obviously they're not fully painted like the normal bodies are, but it's something. It's better than having them just in a pile on the floor. I really wish they'd given us, you know, a full static body for each form. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. They give you one per body. There's two genomes in the set, so you kind of have to choose which one's your favorite. And then just store the other pieces somewhere, I guess, which is kind of a bummer. The Vice one's not much better. The arms pretty much fall off because there's nothing in the back to keep them on. They're just kind of like this mushroom peg that fits into this little section right here. At least with the Revi ones, they are kind of a ball joint. And this piece falls off a lot too because he just has this little ball joint here for this to peg into. So I would say the Vice one is probably worse than the Revi one, but it gets the job done. So I'm going to go ahead and just take these pieces off. So you have these eagle feet down here. You have this piece here that you saw just kind of pop off. You want to pop the shoulder pads off. You want to take off the entire Vice head. And then you want to pop off this little like pectoral emblem. And then we're going to put all that off to the side, and that's going to be for Vice's Eagle Genome. So you're kind of just left with this plastic body, as you can see, very hollow, not really much to it on the back. And then we're going to do the same here for Revi. We're going to pop the arms off. You can see how they have a ball joint here. And then we're going to pop the shoulder pad off, do the same over here. And then we're going to take the entire torso section off. And this is actually going to get used for the finished form. This all stays together just like this. So we're going to put that off to the side. We want to pop the driver off. And then this section here actually pegs in two places. If we can unpeg this, you can see these two giant connector ports right here. And we can put that off to the side as well. So for the Revi section, you just have the two arms and then from the abdomen downward, and that's just kind of his pieces completely unused. Just the static bodies for these two. Alright, so now we'll bring all of the Megalodon pieces back in, and we'll start to put them on these bodies so you can see what it looks like to have them attached to the static pieces. So we're going to take this torso section, which is going to be the Megalodon torso, and that's just going to pop right on here like so. But before we go ahead and peg the arms back on, we actually have to disconnect them at the elbows. And these pieces will just get put off to the side. They are not used in this configuration. So we'll put that over here. And then you can see that we have brand new forearms, which we're going to peg this into. And then we're going to, whoops, I've done that backwards. We're going to peg this one in here and bring this forward. And then we can actually take the shoulder pads, assuming I can find them here. Here we go. That's going to clip on here. This is going to peg in like so. Then we're going to take the other arm and the other forearm, swivel this around. That's going to pop in there. Then we're going to take the other shoulder pad and pop this on. And then this will pop in here. And it's kind of just a lot of, assembling pieces, popping everything in where it goes. These are going to fold down like so. And these are actually just going to kind of sandwich onto his shins. So we're going to pop that on there. And then this piece kind of almost acts as like a second heel, which is kind of nice. So he doesn't fall over. Now he comes with two versions of the driver. When you're just displaying it, you want to use the part that doesn't have the giant hexagon piece. This will come into play a little bit later on. This is really only used for the remix form. So we'll put that off to the side for now. I guess this is not connected in here properly. There we go. Unfortunately, it gets a little strange because this isn't like a proper ball joint connection, because you can see it doesn't have a back. And the fin kind of makes him a little back heavy, so sometimes I have trouble getting this to stay on. It's not a problem with the actual form, it's just a problem with the body, with the static body, so it's not that big a deal. We'll go ahead and start popping on all of the vise components. We have the head, which can pop in here. We have these knee guards, or shin guards rather, which we'll just pop on here. Like so. And then he's got these little arm pieces, which it's kind of the same thing with the torso we just saw in Revice. It doesn't really pop in, it just kind of slides in from the back. And so it doesn't stay on as well as you'd like. But again, it's just a little, it works perfectly fine with the normal body, so I don't really worry about it all that much. Unfortunately, these pieces tend to fall off. This is going to pop on here. And these arms just really, I wish they had a back so that they would stay in place where they're supposed to, but they just really don't. They just really don't. So this is supposed to stay on like this, but I'm willing to bet. Do I have these on backwards? They tell you inside, which is nice. You can see that they have a little L, so yeah, I do have this on the wrong ones. Probably why it's not staying on. There you go. That's, nope, never mind. Yeah, it's just because it doesn't, like, the real body has a full-on, like, peg hole, so it stays on. And since this just kind of slots in from the back, it doesn't stay in very well. But it's just little display pieces here. And then this pops on like so. And another piece just fell off. So it's going to happen. Just deal with it. There's maybe just decide you're going to use these little display bodies for the ones that don't fall off the easiest. Let me zoom back out here. So here we go. So just to show you, you can put both of them on these little hollow bodies. And it looks okay. It's not bad. I mean, obviously they're both going to look, all the genomes look better on the real body than these little hollow, stasis bodies. But they're just something that you can display the forms if you want. I appreciate their inclusion. I wish they were a little better. I feel like the Revice one works a little better just because of how the assembly works for him. Because the arms are constantly falling off the Vice one, and it makes other pieces fall off. So, not the best, but let's go ahead, let's get the combinations with the actual body so we can see how they look. So next up, we have to get these guys ready for the new genome parts. So we're going to start with Revice here. We're going to go ahead and pop the arms off. This entire torso section is just going to pop off like that. And then we're going to pop off the driver section. And then this is pretty much ready to go. We're going to take the arms, and we're going to do the Megalodon first. So we're going to take the shoulder pads off. And we're also going to disconnect the forearms, which I got to tell you, is a lot easier said than done. This one came off relatively easily. I'm just really worried about these elbow joints because over time I really feel like they're not going to hold up to popping these off and on, but only time will tell. This one is probably a little bit more snug. I'm hoping that the more you do it, the looser they might get. But honestly, oof. Okay, there we go. I'm really worried that one day this purple peg here is just going to pop completely off. So we'll see how that holds up. But there you go. These are ready to go. So we'll put them over here. And then we will come over to Vice. We will leave these on. You don't have to pull this. Well, this, I don't think this part is ever going to come off. But this you don't have to pop off. You will leave the shoulder pads on. But you're just going to pop off these sections here because we're going to need these ball joints. So we're going to go ahead and put this off to the side. Pop this off. These little T-Rex hands will pop off pretty easily. Like so. And then we're going to pop off his shin guards. So unpeg those and put that all off to the side. And then we're going to pop off the Vice head. And then, oh, and we also have to get the little emblem here on his chest. These, for some reason, do not want to come out all the time. I do not know why, but they really stick in there. All right, so then he should be ready. So now we will go ahead and bring in our Megalodon Genome parts. So we'll bring this in. This is going to peg in. And they peg into the exact same places they did on the little stasis bodies. Peg that in, no problem. We'll go ahead and peg in the chest emblem there. We're going to take these pieces and we're going to peg those in to those shoulder sockets. There we go. And then these pieces, we have to look and see which side is which. Okay, this is the left side, if you can see that there. And they're going to pop into these little spots, and these stay so much nicer than they did on the stasis body. They'll actually peg in and stay on there really nice, so no problems there. And then this is going to pop in over here. Sometimes it's just difficult to hold on to everything while you're popping these parts in. Then we're going to pop the head in. And there we go. We have Vice in his Megalodon form. And now he needs his partner. So we'll go ahead, grab this torso section here. And that's going to snap in really nice because now it's got a full body peg, what do you call it, ball joint to pop into there, which is really nice. We're going to take the arm sections. We're going to bring those forearms in, and we're going to pop those in like so. And then we're going to grab the shoulder pieces, assuming I can find them. Here we go. That's going to peg in right there. And then that pops in like so. Peg this in. Where is the shoulder? Here it is. Pop that on. Peg that in. And then we're going to take these and just slide them onto the shins. I do worry about the metallic blue paint over time wearing from kind of popping these on with friction. But I guess only time will tell how that goes. And then we have to, of course, give him his driver. So there we go. There are our two forms ready to go. So now let's take a closer look. I think they look pretty good. I mean, the paint applications are really nice. You have the really nice green metallic paint here for the eyes. This really nice purple. A little bit of white paint here on the chest. A little bit of white and pink paint here on the shoulder. These pieces you can swivel around if you kind of like that look better. If you don't want them to always have those deployed, you can do that. Or you can leave them out here if you prefer. Some nice green metallic paint there for the eyes of what will be the Megalodon form. And you don't really get anything new in terms of articulation. I mean, the only joint that's really new is the neck joint, which has a hinge and a ball joint. So you can get a little bit of tilt in and out, a little bit of tilt side to side, and then of course you have the hinge. You can swivel side to side as well. But I think the head looks nice. It's really nicely painted. I mean, otherwise, the arms and everything, all the elbow joints, that's all the same. The wrist swivel is exactly the same as the previous wrist. Ball joint here in the torso. The legs are exactly the same, so you didn't gain or lose anything there. But yeah, he looks good. He's got the giant fin on the back, but because he's got the solid ball joint to peg into now, it's not a problem. And he can stand perfectly good. Over here with Vice, again, you really don't switch out any body parts. It's just armor you're pegging on. So again, you're not gaining or losing any articulation. So there's nothing there. You just have a lot of parts that are going to swivel around. But I think the new head looks good. Nicely painted. These pieces are not super impressive. Most of them are just done in pink plastic. This one has a little bit of paint, which is fine. So, out of the two, I think Revice form is a little bit cooler for this genome. But let's go ahead and let's get the remix over with. Alright, so to get these guys ready, you're going to switch the driver out, pop this driver off, and then we have a new version of the Megalodon, or I should say the driver with the Megalodon Vice stamp that has this large peg here in the center. So we're going to go ahead and pop that on, like so. You're going to put these kind of straight out, and then put these to the side. And then you're going to put the two legs together. These will flip down over the feet. And you can kind of like loosely peg these together. You can see how they kind of connect there like that. Right there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do for Revi. We're going to take Vice. And not really too much else is going to be happening here. So this is going to come around like so. This is going to come down. And then you just kind of flip these up. And then you kind of push them together to kind of make like a fin here for the back. This is going to go straight down like so. So what's going to happen? I think actually I did this wrong. I think these go... I forget exactly where the arms go. We'll get there. Oh no, the arms do stay out like this. These flip around and cover the hands. And then these kind of hang down here like so. So what's going to happen? The peg here that's in the driver is going to peg into this spot in the back. It doesn't peg in the best, but you can kind of get it in there. What's really going to end up holding this thing together, he's got these pegs on the side of his leg that pop out, like so. These are going to peg into his wrists. You can see how he's got peg holes on the side of his wrist. And then there's going to be these spots on the side of his thighs that are going to flip out. And these pieces here are going to peg into those. Now this can be a little tricky, so I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm going to go ahead and peg all that in together real quick and then show you the finished product. So yeah, this is the finished form. It's real dumb. I'm sorry. I mean, it holds together well. I'll give it that. The connection points here are very solid. Like, it's not going anywhere. And I don't blame the toy. It's not a failing of the toy. This is exactly what it's designed to look like on the show. So it's the design of the show. Whoever dreamed these remix forms up, they just don't work. There's like 10 of them at this point, and they're all just really dumb. I mean, you know, if I hold this away and I kind of squint, can I kind of see what they're going for? This kind of looks like a tail and a fin and a mouth, and maybe it's some kind of sea creature, but I mean, when you just look at it actually, it just looks like two dudes, one laying on the other one's back. I don't really know what's going on. So if you love this, more power to you. Like I said, the best I can say for this is that it holds together well. I still think it looks really dumb. Next up, we're going to check out Eagle Genome. I've gone ahead and already taken these bodies down to their base components, and I've gone ahead and put the normal Rex forearms back on because Eagle does not have his own forearms. So we're going to take the Eagle chest, we're going to pop that onto the ball joint like so. Get him to stand here. We're going to take these two shoulder pads and we're going to pop them onto the arms, and then we're going to pop these into these ball joints here. and that pops on pretty simply. There we go, and then we're going to pop the driver on, and then the last main component for him is going to be the skirt piece, which is going to come around and peg into these two spots right here, these hexagon pieces. And so that's going to peg in like that, and then we're going to wrap the skirt around his waist. And there you have that. Not too bad. We're going to take Vice, we're going to peg in the chest component here like so. We're going to peg the head in like so. We're going to take the shoulder pads and we're going to peg those on. The all black one goes on the left. And for some reason these can be a little difficult to get on. I'm not really sure why. But there we go. We'll get that one in. You can tell because this one's only painted halfway. So you want the green to face forward. Unfortunately, they did not paint the full shoulder pad. But it does kind of help you know which way to peg it in. Sometimes in these butterfly joints, these things move around. So it's kind of hard to get these on. There we go. And then we're going to fold these down if they're still up. We're going to take these leg pieces and peg them into the shins. And then we just have the wing pieces to pop onto the back here. Very easy. And then you can just kind of display them how you want. And that's it. We're pretty much done. Here is the Eagle Genome for Revice and Vice. So taking a closer look, they look pretty cool. I mean, they have some really nice metallic paint for the eyes. He's got this beak piece down here at the bottom of the eyes, which is a little weird, but I can see what they were going for. You have the actual bird head here on the chest, which has some nice metallic paint. Otherwise, you just have some pretty basic plastic shoulder pads here. And really, the rest of the body is just Revice's normal body. You do have these pieces in the back here for the skirt, which work well enough. I mean, that pegs into the back pretty securely. And then you have the ball joint there to kind of get a decent range of motion out of this skirt. It looks pretty cool. I wish there was a little bit more green in this form because obviously, you know, green and purple or black is what Double's going for. And I don't know, just doesn't really come through here. I appreciate that they kind of, you know, split the colors in half, but I would have liked a little bit more green or black. But we do get that over here with Vice. He's got these big wings that are on ball joints that you can kind of get a little bit of movement here. Not to mention there's another ball joint here, so you get a decent range of movement there. You have a little bit of green here for the shoulder pad, the wing, and the side of his head. And then over here you have a gray because he's mostly black, so they couldn't really just do black again, which makes sense. And then he's got these big talon pieces here in his shins. So he's all right. This is definitely not one of my favorite forms, I'll be honest. I really like Double, and I just kind of feel like he got shortchanged. I don't know. I don't know why they chose Eagle, really. I'm trying to think back to, does an eagle like have some kind of significance in the show? And I don't really think it does. I'm trying to think even back to like his gadgets, and he had the bat. He didn't really have an eagle. Eagle was O's. So not really sure where the eagle's coming from with this one. And like I said, I know that they're always sticking to Revice's color scheme here for Revice all the time. You know, even though he gets new forms, they don't really change in terms of color. Vice usually gets more of the color change, but I don't know. Just this one doesn't really do it for me. The Revice mode does nothing to fix that. So basically, we're just going to take the wings here and put them off to the side. We're going to take the talon pieces and disconnect them, and then you can see how there's a second connection piece, and that's going to peg in like that. And then we're going to kind of bend these like he's squatting, and then you take the feet and kind of spin them around 180. And you need that because Revice feet are going to peg into these pegs here. But I just don't really know what this is going for. But we put the arms up, and there we go. There's Vice. We're going to take this section and lift it forward. We're going to push the head down about as much as we can, and then this is going to come up and kind of cover the head. Not really, but kind of. You're going to put these out to the side like so. We're going to bend him like this. And then he is just going to sit on top of Vice's shoulders like they're having a chicken fight in a swimming pool. And this will come down here and again peg into his thighs, and it does hold it together fairly well. Like that peg is pretty secure. And then you kind of, it says to like make sure the arms are locked in to grab a hold of his legs. I don't really think it matters. I guess technically, and this is probably, I didn't see this in the directions, but you're probably supposed to, you could bring this up and peg that in there. It doesn't show you doing that, honestly. It just kind of shows him like putting his arms up like this. And honestly, pegged into the thighs, it's not going anywhere. It's really not. You could just kind of bring the arms like this. I don't really think they have a specific spot they're supposed to go. And then you're kind of supposed to make the skirt and his wings kind of like linked together, but they don't really work. And then this just popped off the ball joint. I'm sure there's probably a slightly better configuration that you're supposed to go for with this, and I'm just not really doing it. It's because I don't like it, so I'm not trying extra hard. I don't really know how you're going to save this. It kind of looks like a bird if you just completely don't look at the fact that it's one guy sitting on another guy's shoulders. I mean, the bird head is not terrible, and the wing pieces here are not great, but I kind of see what they're going for. The talon pieces down here, I guess, could be worse. I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive, but this is just really not great. This is by far, in my opinion, his worst remix form, because I don't know what they're trying for. It just doesn't really work. It doesn't really look like a bird to me at all, because his arms are just kind of here hanging. And like I said, maybe there's somewhere else I'm supposed to put them and I'm just not doing a great job. At this point, I don't care anymore. This thing looks really, really weird, and I just don't really care for it. So I have really mixed feelings about this set. I think the forms individually look fine, especially when you're using the actual bodies. I think the Eagle Genome forms look good. I think the Megalodon forms look a little better. They have some nice paint applications, especially on the helmets. I do appreciate that they gave us these static bodies so that we could kind of display at least one of the two forms if you have the other one on this body, or if you have Rex on this body. You could also buy extra Rex sets if you wanted to get extra bodies. They might get clearanced off towards the end of the show, so maybe that's an idea. I hate the remix forms. I'm sorry. Again, it's not the toys' fault. The toys are doing what they're supposed to be doing. The forms hold together fairly well, which I'm very surprised about. They're actually pretty sturdy. There's enough connection points on the bodies to actually have everything really hold together well, which I appreciate. They just look dumb. And again, not the toys' fault. This is whoever designed the remix's fault. They look dumb on the show. The toys look dumb, but if you just want some decent action figures of the forms, I think these are fine. I honestly think they're pretty decent. Like I said, you get nice articulation with the bodies when all said is done. The paint applications are nice, and I think the forms individually look good. I think the best one out of the two is probably Megalodon. That's probably my favorite out of the two, especially once you get him on the body. They don't really look that great on the kind of static pose bodies here, but at least it's something, so I could actually display them all like this at the same time, which I appreciate. But I still have a pile of Rex pieces off to the side, so it would have been nice to get, two of Revice static bodies and two of Vice's static bodies so I could actually display all of the forms at once. But maybe if I'm lucky, we'll get one with one of the vehicle sets that doesn't actually need one. Probably won't, but we'll see. But it would be nice to just by the end of this line be able to display all of them at the same time, because like I said, individualistic forms, not bad. Remix forms, not good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.